Okay, so we're back. Hopefully you all had a little bit of a break, a little bit of lunch. I certainly did. And we are on to the afternoon. We've got 3 sessions this afternoon, really interesting ones, full panels. We have Bulgaria first, we have Romania after that, and we finish up with the US panel in the afternoon, followed by a very short 50-minute networking at the very end of the day. So I would also like, which is a new addition to the agenda, by the way. So without further ado, we'll go straight over to Bulgaria. A couple comments about that. Bulgaria has been not a big market for captive shared service centers, which I do a lot of work in that space, but they have been extremely strong in the IT technology space. And we're going to hear some more about that, why that's the case, what they're doing, what their plans are. A wonderful panel led by Georgiev, who runs the #1 association in Bulgaria, which is the Bulgaria Outsourcing Association. So without further ado, over to Georgiev, who will introduce the guest, and followed by Romania after this particular 45-minute panel. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the panel Bulgarian Focus. My name is Gergana Ivanova, and I am the Administrative Manager of iBest, the former Bulgarian Outsourcing Association. The Association for Innovation, Business Excellence, Services and Technology is the most influential branch organization in Bulgaria, grouping companies from all spheres of the industry, companies offering services related to BPO, ITO, and all subsectors. Now, today I have with me 3 of the fastest developing companies in the market, covering the variety of services we offer, ITO, BPO, data center. But before we start, I would like to show you a short intro video of Bulgaria. I hope you will enjoy that one.
For every beginning, there is a place to live, a place to grow, a place to move to, and a place to move you. Today, you're taking the first step to that place. A place which connects you to the Middle East and Russia without ever leaving the European Union. A place of great connections where the internet is amongst the 10 fastest in the world. Everything moves fast in this place. A booming economy with low operating costs and a corporate tax of just 10%. A smart place with smart people. People who top the global charts in mathematics and rank 3rd in the world in IT specialists per capita. People who communicate with the world. 1 in 2 speaks at least 1 foreign language. This place is a vibrant global software development hub, an industry growing by 30% year on year. The automotive sector is also driving in the fast lane, helping 90% of the European cars move. And there's more. More electrical manufacturing, more mechatronics, more mechanical engineering, electronics, innovations. More is moving forward in this place. Until it pauses. Just for a moment. And then you dive into 14 centuries of cultural heritage. You are dazzled by the stunning natural beauty and never get tired of its diversity throughout its 4 seasons. You fall in love with this place of abundance, where half of the land is arable, fertile, clean, and rich in mineral water. So move forward and be moved by Bulgaria. Take the first step and let us welcome you with strong institutional support and attractive business incentives. Invest in Bulgaria. Move to be moved.
Well, that video always excites me, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, our first participant today, Equinix, is a company that connects the world's leading businesses to their employees, customers, partners inside the most interconnected data centers. And now I'm passing the floor to Vladislav Yankov and his team from Equinix, Bulgaria.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for participating in this Bulgarian Focus panel. Definitely, yes, Bulgaria is a very nice place, and our story as a company acquired by the biggest player in this field made us proud and happy. And it's the true. Historically, geographically, Bulgaria is on a very nice place between Middle East and European Union. You know, we are the first country to enter from this region, but we have a lot of other positive things here, like the currency is fixed for 20 years and it's 10% taxes, business and personal, corporate and personal. And in the video, you see that we are number 3 in certified IT professionals, but actually in Europe, we are number 1. There are hundreds of academies, Cisco network academies, software universities, and other universities. So young people are very eager and knowledgeable. And the reality is that the country for these 20 and more years has become a digital hub, digital infrastructure hub for the region, starting from Hungary up towards to Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia, and down up to Israel, Syria, and Iraq. And we see it in our data center business with all the big names in the telecom industry, from AT&T to China Telecom to Telecom Italia and GTT and Verizon and all sorts of it. And here the connectivity is, we are number 5 in the world on connectivity, which is very positive for our ecosystem. Additionally, the startup culture here is more than 20 years, with all the venture funds and all the money, and now helping with the European Union, it becomes stronger and stronger. But the truth is that the thing started in the 70s, when Bulgaria was the ex-Silicon Valley of the Soviet Union bloc. So our engineers were doing reverse engineering of mostly Japanese and American technologies, and this heritage continued all these years. And we can be proud that we are like the data center capital of Southeast Europe. And we have invested more than 12 years in our company for building an immaculate infrastructure. Just as an example, the other big names in this industry, the closest location is in Frankfurt, which is 2,000 kilometers away. And yeah, Bulgaria is the home of a lot other big names and big corporations, like VMware, SAP, IBM, Cisco, HP, and a lot of others. Usually, they acquire Bulgarian companies, startups, and continue their growth and business. Krzysztof, yeah. And last year, we were lucky. We have invested more than $20 million in our new data center in Sofia. And it's a technological bijou, technological marvel that anyone who is visiting Sofia can see, can take a look. And it's a home of all the big hyperscalers, covering the region of these 300 million people and 2.5 trillion of GDP. So now I will pass the ball to our global solution architect, Krzysztof, who will give you more details about our solutions for the region.
Welcome, nice to meet you. I'm Krzysztof Stankiewicz and I'm Global Solution Architect at Equinix. So what Vladi said is absolutely true. And actually, Sofia and Bulgaria being a part of a bigger platform. So our company is well known as a data center company, but it is it is just a part of the truth. Naturally, we are actually building a platform on top of that. And the data center colocation space is just a ground floor for us to build a platform. Why we are building this platform? Because we have observed that legacy ways of inventing and architecting infrastructure with a centralized location and people accessing from all around the world is no longer valid. It's expensive. It's also difficult to manage, difficult to support, and the user experience is bad. What we are promoting and what we have invented as well is more global, more localized access, where people are actually able to access applications closer to users. So data centers are closer to users. We are decreasing latency, and eventually this solution is cheaper. So what we have done in past is that we have been participating in a number of digital transformation with migrating from one way of architecting the infrastructure to another one. And these are just numbers, but these are not numbers out of the blue. You can actually check in Forrester economic impact study, when we have actually helped to share the knowledge how we did one of the how we supported one of the customers to move to their new ways of working, new platform. So as I said, data centers are just a ground floor for us. And what we have actually built is the platform, data centers to get connected to each other, data centers that can actually talk to each other, so customers can utilize this core infrastructure also for their own needs. So one of the use cases, so you can actually use that infrastructure to connect two points together. So for example, if one of your locations, one of your services are sitting inside of Sofia, you can actually use one of our data centers in US to host your local environment in US because of the regulations, for example. And then you can utilize our platform in order to connect to those 2 points together. What else? This connectivity is quite flexible, so we can create that connectivity, destroy that connectivity, change the bandwidth of this connectivity just using self-service portal. So no longer long year commitments. You're just going to the portal, you're creating connectivity, and then destroying if it's not needed. It's quite often used when you need to actually transport the tons of data from one place to another. You can actually create a big pipe, you can transfer the data, and then you can actually close the connectivity later on once it is not needed anymore. But this connectivity can also be used to access cloud providers. As you may know, Equinix is a strategic alliance partner for names like AWS, Azure, Google, IBM, Oracle, and many, many more. And actually, what we have done together with those cloud providers is that we are providing the cloud connectivity. So you can actually use the same product, and we are calling this ECX Fabric, actually to connect privately to cloud providers. So you can actually, from one physical port, you can connect to AWS, to Azure, to GCP as well. But on the other side, you can actually connect to other parties that are hosted somewhere inside of our data centers. Okay, so what we have observed later on is that quite often customers starting to use more than one cloud provider at the same time, because it's easy to create a connectivity. It's easy to create a private connectivity with high speed bandwidth. So actually, our companies, our customers are starting to use, for example, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure just for databases and AWS for web servers. And that's fine, because actually you can create this connectivity between those cloud providers together with a high-speed bandwidth. But what if this is Sofia and actually this is Frankfurt, and Sofia, Bulgaria doesn't have right now local footprint? Then this latency between those data centers, so the round-trip time from AWS to Oracle would be something about 60 milliseconds, because it's going to Sofia, and then it's going back to Frankfurt once again. So what our company have invented is something that we are calling network edge. These are actually just virtual network devices within close proximity to cloud providers. So, for example, in Frankfurt, I will stick to that example. So, in this particular case, you can actually enable private connectivity between those two clouds together, and many more, just with latency around 2 or 3 milliseconds instead. With this approach, you can actually leverage Oracle databases and still be able to utilize services from AWS. So this is one of the examples, and of course, we can find much more for that. But this is just an example. Of course, you can actually create a connectivity back from this virtual network device to your local branch office, and you can use our partners to actually connect to your existing MPLS network. So it's very simple, it's very easy, and it's once again quite flexible. So regarding flexibility, we can create this device, we can destroy this device, and we can change the size of this network device as well. So it is pay-as-you-go model as well. So quite interesting, flexible approach to the networking. From the vendor point of view, what we are offering, what we are supporting these days is Cisco, Juniper, of course, Palo Alto, Fortinet, Versa, VMware, Velo Cloud, quite recently introduced as well. So this is a very short description of our services from high-level perspective. I invite you and encourage you to contact us in case if you have any questions. We are here to help, and definitely we are here to support you in your digital transformation journey. Thank you.
Thank you both. Now passing the stage to Pavel Yosifov, Business Development Manager at Bullpros. Bullpros is purely Bulgarian company that grew over time to become the biggest ITO in the country, represented in every continent up to date. So Pavel, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Gary. Hi to you all. I hope you can see the slide deck and you can hear me well. Thanks for spending the time with us. It's an honor being part of that event today. A few words about myself before I start introducing the company. I'm part of the Bullpros group for a year and a half now, currently as a business development manager for the cybersecurity portfolio. And prior to that, I was for about a decade the co-founder of the CTO of one of a local system integrator in Bulgaria that was dealing a lot with cybersecurity. You've heard about Equinix and their fascinating story, that how a local company grew from a startup to someone that is acquired from one of the biggest vendors in that area. Now I'm going to tell you about a company that's growing currently naturally, I would say. So Bullpros, now it's our 10th anniversary this year. We're at the edge of it. The company was founded in 2010, started as a software development company. And over these years, we've been growing quite a lot, to be honest, in order to be ranked by the likes of Financial Times and Deloitte as one of the fastest growing companies in the European Union. So today, we are over 1,300 people in the company. We have offices in over 20 countries, 20 locations. And we have more than 2,000 customers in our portfolio, 2,000 customers that are trusting and working with us. And through natural or organic growth, but also through acquisitions, we've been able to gain a lot of expertise, industry-related expertise in the financial services, in the manufacturing services, etc. I'm going to go quickly through the portfolio. I won't be able to dig that deep as Equinix did into what they're doing. Just to give you a glimpse, we don't have a lot of time today for going deeper. It would be nice if then you have your questions or reach out to us and let me know if something is of interest to you. So it's been the last few years for us are very, very exciting because we are productizing all our knowledge, which means that we want to make it easier for us, our partners, and our customers to identify the areas where we're good at and how we can help them in their digital journeys. And we are currently in the state of our portfolio where we have 4 silos, I would say, or pillars. One of them is the so-called technology services, where all our software development capabilities reside, which means that for customers, we are able to create tailor-made solutions based on their specific requirements and do it especially for them. The digital solutions pillar is the one that we provide to our customers ready-made solutions, and sometimes tweak them a little bit so they can match exactly what they need. It's a combination of our own products. I will go a little bit deeper there, and products from third parties and partners of ours like Microsoft, IBM, and Cisco. Of course, cloud, is quite a buzzword for, I don't know, about a decade already. So we have our portfolio in the cloud area. I'll tell you about it a bit later. I have a separated minute for that. And last but not least is the cybersecurity topic, where actually my area of influence is the biggest. I'll go quickly, try to give you a glimpse over the digital solutions portfolio. This is an extract of the portfolio, to be honest. It's not even the complete one. This is the one that we are talking about the banking industry. So we divided this because it's quite big in 3 sections: customer experience, employee experience, and digital enterprise management. And we have numerous solutions in there. For example, in customer experience, these would be the solutions that are helping organizations serve their end users. Like, for example, the digital onboarding. Example is you want to become a customer of a bank, for example. You don't have to go to an office. You do that online or through a mobile app. That's just a very short introduction of what these capabilities. From an employee experience perspective, these are the internal things that companies need to do in order to become better and be more flexible and agile. An example here would be the incident response 365. So when you're working on a problem, typically, I'll give you the example with healthcare. If you're working on if there's a surgery that needs to happen, you need a team of experts to get there, doctors, specific doctors. They need to put together, work as a team to make a successful surgery. Same applies to some extent to some more complex problems that arise in certain organizations. And this solution, for example, is designed to bring those people together in a collaboration space and allow them to really work on a problem in a very interactive environment, not just forwarding and sending emails back and forth. And the digital enterprise management is the one that is core to most of the businesses. Example here is ERP systems, CRM. systems, core insurance systems, etc. So if any of these rings a bell and you think it's interesting, you want to hear more, reach out to me later. If I cannot go deep enough in the details, I will link you to the right people in the organization that can do that. Moving towards to the cloud, or the so-called smart cloud, as you want to call it, we are dividing this in 4 main areas. We've built our own expertise naturally. We are a cloud-born company. 95+% of our infrastructure is cloud anyway. But the nice thing is that we also have a lot of experts in the organization that know standard infrastructure methodologies. And we as a community have learned that public cloud is not always solving every problem. So there are certain things that you can solve with public cloud, certain you cannot. So Having said that, we are consulting our customers is what is the right mix for them. We're helping them adopt those kind of approach and technology, and of course, if needed, we can also operate and support it on their behalf. We are offering our own cloud-like hosting infrastructure, mostly for customers that do not want to go to the public cloud for whatever reason. There are still customers that feel that way. So I mentioned cybersecurity last but not least. I will give you a brief overview of the portfolio, and then I'll jump into what's the most recent in our portfolio. We announced it just a few weeks ago. So our journey in the cybersecurity started when we acquired a German company 3 years ago. January 2017 was the month where we acquired a company called GBS. These guys are developing an email security and management solution. So this is how Bullpros got involved into the cybersecurity topic. And even back then, we realized that although the technology is quite good and it's very popular on the German market, we are still covering only the email side of it. So we started an internal project of developing in parallel a second platform that addresses the collaboration stack. Looking at the market trends, and you can see that even today as we speak, we are using a collaboration platform to reach out to you and show you this. And the unfortunate happening of COVID drove these collaboration platforms up a lot. And we were seeing that even before that this would happen, not with the pace that it did, but the collaboration stack would need the same kind of security protection that the emails we're used to in the emails. And this is not the case today. So this is actually the product that we announced a few weeks ago. I'll talk about it a bit later to give you a glimpse of what it has today and what it is supposed to become very shortly. But then in cybersecurity, there's a rule that you always have to plan for failure. And we decided that this is something that we want to use somebody else's technology because it's quite a sophisticated topic. And we picked one of the leaders, IBM. In that respect, we are partnering with IBM to be able to identify certain threats in customers' organizations and react quickly in solving those. And last but not least, as I mentioned, we were growing quite dynamically in the last few years, but you know, we're not forgetting where we're coming from. And we also realized that small and medium business companies, we are still, I believe, in the medium segment, hopefully, they have more or less the same needs from a cybersecurity perspective as the biggest ones, but they rarely have the resources to address those. So all our solutions in the portfolio are designed and picked to be as a service ready. So everything that we offer to our customers as a product or a solution to implement our site, we can also do as a service to cover the needs of smaller organizations. So having said that, I want to jump quickly. I know I have just a few minutes left to the solution that we have that we announced a few weeks ago. It's called IQ Suite 360. It's designed as a framework to cover, to integrate very tightly with the collaboration platforms. You see some of them here. The goal is to provide a simple yet secure way of applying the same technologies and same protection mechanisms that we are doing on email to the collaboration platform, which would be malware protection, which would be the likes of encryption, content recognition, and stuff like that. So the product is now out. Our first features are already available to customers, and our first service is targeting SharePoint environments. Some of you may be following the announcements of breaches and stuff, but there are some breaches that are targeting SharePoint online. And one of the things we decided is to go first with SharePoint because people collaborate a lot and put a lot of data there. we want to be able to protect that from a malware perspective. And now this service is out, and people can subscribe to that. And we're expecting very soon Teams, so to be able to do that for file share through Teams. And we're also looking into having the encryption capabilities very soon on the platform. So it's been quite quick. I'm not used to talking that quickly, but hopefully I was able to provide you with a very quick overview of what the company does and what's exciting in the cybersecurity area. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to Gary or me. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Pavel. Now, our last participant is one of the fastest growing BPO companies in Bulgaria called Pontica Solutions. The company is specialized in delivering high customer satisfaction in more than 20 languages and has client portfolio in high-tech, finance, gaming, and many more. I would like to give the floor to Ivan Georgiev, co-founder and CEO of Pontica Solutions.
Hi guys, Gary, thank you very much. My fellow speakers, please interrupt me if there is a technical problem, you cannot see my presentation or you cannot hear me anymore. I hope there are plenty of people interested in Bulgaria in our services on the other side of the screen. So I'm Ivan Georgiev, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Pontica Solutions, as Gary mentioned, and I would like to give you some more details about our services. But before I do that, I want to share some very interesting research made by Ernst & Young for 2019 among 4,000 participants from Europe. That is actually overlooking on the reasons why companies outsource on the first place and what problems they try to solve with outsourcing. And what is interesting here is not exactly the points from 1 to 5, the top 5 choices of the companies, but what is interesting is that actually only 3 years ago, number 1 and number 2 are today's number 3 and number 5. 3 years ago, companies usually wanted to do outsourcing for cost reduction purposes and also to have flexibility in operations. And what is interesting today is that companies are interested in outsourcing not to find some sort of a vendor for a specific service, but more to find a partner that has a specific set of skills and knowledge in area of management of operations, recruitment, administrations of staff, and scaling up and down when needed, which actually allows the companies to focus on their core competencies, which is number 1 choice of the companies for 2019. Second, address the recruitment needs for a quick scale up. For usually this is valid for startups that acquire a lot of funding that need to scale up their companies pretty quickly. Of course, cost reduction is very important with outsourcing partner in our location, more specifically with Pontica Solutions, because this is the data I have, companies can save up to 40% on specific operational budgets. Then, of course, you have access to better skill and expertise in operations, which I'm going to give more details later on in the next slides. And, of course, allow flexibility in operations, because having a partner that is good in recruiting and administrating people, it's also good to have when you need to actually have seasonality in your business, scaling up, scaling down, and actually adapt to your business needs. So what we do in Pontica Solutions, based on the previous slide and based on the actually current business needs of the companies that use outsourcing services, is not a simple call center solution or contact center solution where you need, for example, 50 people speaking specific languages and we give you 50 people and they do repetitive work. Our know-how is actually focused on giving you suggestions and implementing operational methodologies and also people management methodologies that allows you to optimize, improve your operations, give you the voice of your customer, and constantly work on improving a specific department related to your operations, regardless if it's about back office activities or customer support, project management, technical support, or whatever. So Instead of speaking about the BPO provider, which is actually business process outsourcing, is the difference between business process outsourcing and the standard call center is that additional value to your operations with the voice of the customer, improving the operations. Instead of speaking about that, I would like to focus on the competitive advantage that I think Pontica Solution has, because we are a relevantly young company. We are now approximately 400 people in 2 cities in Bulgaria. But we founded the company only 5 years ago. And myself and Evgeny Borisov, who is a co-founder also in Pontica Solutions, we decided that there is a lack in operations and in our services where buyers like yourselves, they very rarely, when they look to expand their operations, they very rarely get to meet the decision makers of the other party. And they usually interact with account managers, and which really is not that helpful when you need quick solutions, when you need flexibility in operations, and when you need dynamics in your operations as well, which nowadays almost every business needs. So we decided that we're going to do it in Bulgaria for the geographical reasons. We are also going to speak about that later in the presentation. But mostly we created Pontica because we saw that lack. And how we actually fix that lack is with our vision of the business, which is always related to synergy. We as a company, we have a very difficult task to engage our colleagues, our employees at the same time with Pontica Solutions and with your brand. This is very important because most of the resources, they go to recruiting and training your teams. And this is why high engagement is very, very important for companies such as Pontica Solutions. So the first thing that we want to cover when we meet the potential partners is actually the synergy between the two companies. As a people-centric company that also is socially responsible for us, it's very important to have a company that have similar vision in how they operate their staff and how they treat their teams. If we have that, of course, it leads to happy colleagues, that leads to performance excellence, that leads to very happy clients, and a transparent relationship that we actually call partnership. Partnership is actually a keyword for us because when we have a relationship between decision maker with a decision maker, we actually find out that this allows for you to have more flexibility and 24 access to decision makers. And for us, it gives us access to more line of business. The second reason why we created Pontica Solutions is, of course, for our geographical position, which is very, very convenient for the services that we know how to perform best. Going from left to right, I would like to quickly emphasize on some of the reasons. First, of course, for European partners and companies, and not only that, for international companies that have European markets, Bulgaria being part of the European Union and NATO is very important, not only from strategic and proximity reasons, but also for data security and security protocols. We, as a member of the European Union, of course, are GDPR compliant, ISO compliant, and we try to apply the same regulation policies that European members do as well. Second is economic and political stability, which is very important for Bulgaria. I'm sorry. Bulgaria tends to have a very stable inflation rate, which compares to other countries in the region is very, very important because you have some lower cost destinations where, for example, it's very difficult to get a stable pricing models because their inflation rate usually is between 5 and 15%, which is pretty high and cannot really give them the luxury of giving stable pricing models. Next one is excellent language skills in all major European languages. Yes, this is also very, very important. We speak over 20 languages in Bulgaria. Over 80% of the students or people involved in outsourcing in general, they speak for sure English, and approximately 67% speak second language on a near native or native level. Another interesting fact is the highly educated large talent pool with strong attitude for BPO and ITO. Yeah, this is correct and a statement because compared to other countries in Bulgaria, people that are involved in outsourcing is actually a career choice because of our maturity in the sector, and companies will have been outsourcing for the past 15 years in Bulgaria. The market developed in a way that people actually choose to pursue a career with outsourcing, and which actually creates a very, very attractive cost value proposition if you want to outsource in Bulgaria. The next reason is the culture, of course, linguistic proximity to the Western business world, not only from logistic perspective, but also from cultural proximity to the meaning knowing the mindset of your customers. And of course, it's something I mentioned about the mature outsourcing destination. We have examples. My fellow speakers, they already mentioned a lot of big names that have been operating in Bulgaria for many years. This is why in Pontica we like Bulgaria, and we decided to have a local growth strategy. So now we are based in Sofia and Varna. We decided to do that from strategic perspective, first to stay in Bulgaria, and second to allow our customers to have redundancy on one side and also access to more powerful recruitment engine. Yeah, I have a very interesting case study on that. Even if I don't have time to go through all the slides, I think this will be very interesting for you. And it's related to the risk, to the flexibility I told you, to the relationship, and to the COVID actually lockdown and crisis that we're currently having. We managed, after a long years of seduction, we managed to have a client that is actually very interesting, cutting-edge delivery and transportation company that only uses bicycles, but they are very popular in Europe. And they decided to have a pilot with us with 15 people just before the lockdown, the COVID lockdown in Europe. And we started, everyone was happy about it, but then there was the COVID lockdown in all major cities in Europe. So their business was very, very hurt in the beginning. Because restaurants were now working, so no deliveries, and actually their business dropped with approximately 80%. But they're very dynamic and a very intelligent company, so they very quickly switched to another sales approach, and they signed a lot of contracts with pharmaceuticals. Provider is very, very important. Moving forward through the presentation very quickly, what we offer is the multi-channel customer solutions like customer support, technical support, back office activities. We have some B2B and B2C sales and customer retention operations as well. And we recently signed a very big deal for back office services related to background checks. We cover over 20 languages, as I mentioned, and most of the communication channels such as chat, email, self-help, voice, and social media. These are some of the languages that we speak in-house. Today, based on business requirements, we have, I think, 16 languages, but we have capacity to over 20 plus, and we operate 24/7 in Pontica Solutions. I mentioned our compliance with all the European regulations. We are PCI DSS compliant, ISO 27000, and most of the companies that I know from the sector work in A-class buildings that actually guarantee highest level of data and personal security, physical security. But results are better than words. So our turnover for 2019 is 70%. Average quality is 92%. Engagement of our employees based on the service that we perform is over 92%. The CSAT of the customers of our clients is 89%, and our average recruitment time is 4 weeks. We understand how important it is to have to have an engaged team and site that is actually alive. So we tend to brand with the logo and with the identity of all of our clients, all the dedicated space that we have for our teams, which increase the engagement with your brand very, very high. And to finish, I would like to mention, because we spoke about synergy in the beginning, we think that it's very good to give where we live and to actually help our community. So this is why we are very socially responsible company, doing plenty of events related to actually help the environment we work with. We are paper free as a company. We plant trees, and we do plenty of other charity and socially responsible activities. So this is in a nutshell. I see we are at the end of our slot. So find me either take a picture of this slide or find me on the platform. It was a pleasure to present Pontica to you, and this is all from me.
Thank you very much, Ivan, and thanks to all our presenters today. Thank you very much to everyone who joined our panel. I hope you managed to grasp an information that would be beneficial for you in the future. We will be happy to connect and answer all your questions here in the platform or offline. Thank you again and have a great rest of the day.